everyone, and welcome to another video. Today's video, I'm really excited about filming this. I've been thinking about this video for a month because I've been away on vacation for a month. So I'm bringing my vacation reading wrap up to you guys. I read 12 books on holiday this year. I'm so proud of myself. I'm really excited about that. Considering I was in Greece for 2 weeks. First week in Greece, I was really relaxed. I read a lot. The second week in Greece was a bit hectic. I had family, so I didn't really read. And then we went to Rome, and that was obviously busy. And then we went to Amsterdam, which was a bit more relaxed. I've been away for a month, and I've had a bit of a mixture of relaxing on vacation and also tourism, being a tourist, basically. So I've read 12 books. Now, I'm only going to review 11 of them because one of the books I read was a submission for Oftomes, my publishing company. It's a bit top secret because I've signed her and it's pretty amazing. More information will come of that soon. But let's get into my wrap up for this month. Now, I've really been thinking about what series shall I start off? What book shall I start off this wrap up with? You know, it's got to be momentous, it's got to be massive. Of course, there's only one series that really fits the bill for that, and that is the Throne of Glass series. Guys, I finally read this series. Woohoo! I'm really happy about this. This is an amazing series by Sarah J Maas, and I'm going to let you know what it consists of, although I'm sure 95% of you know what it consists of. Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, and Empire of Storms. Now, when I went to Amsterdam, I actually found Empire of Storms 4 days earlier than it should have been released, so I read it really quickly. I read the entire Throne of Glass series so far, which is out so far. This is one of my favourite series of all time, and guys, give this video a thumbs up because I managed to read this whole series and other books on my vacation. I really want to make my own dedicated video to this series, so please give this a comment down below if you'd like me to review this series. Definitely let me know. I'm really happy that I read this. I'm really happy. I finally joined the fandom. Characters I'm obsessed with. I'm gonna have to go with the group, the power group. I'm obsessed with Rowan. I love Carol. I love Dorian. I love Aileen. I love Manon. She's might be one of my favorite characters. I love Edlai. I love Lysander. Everybody can't say the names of the characters, okay? So bear in mind, I really can't either. But I am really super duper happy about reading this series. So I read it, I've done it. Next, I'm gonna be reviewing a book which I read, which I didn't actually finish because it just was not for me, and that was The Outliers by Kimberly McGright. I was really excited about this. I bought my own edition, but unfortunately for me, this book was just not good. I just really did not get into it at all. I found it really boring and slow and quite jumpy. No, it wasn't slow. That's not the right word to describe it. It was fast-paced. It was just really not my cup of tea, and I think that what it was being pitched as was not what it is when I read it, so I am a bit disappointed in that. I mean, it's an amazing cover and the premise sounds amazing, and if it gets turned into a movie, which I believe, I'm hearing on the grapevine that it is, then I will definitely check it out. But for me, this book was like a DNF, like, no, not good at all. So unfortunately, I couldn't finish it, but I am putting it in this wrap-up because I will never read it again. So I reread a book on holiday because I was sat on the beach and I had nothing else to read after finishing the Queen of Shadows on the beach. So I read the first 4 books in the Throne of Glass series, and I was like, what else do I have on my Kindle that's downloaded? And what I had was Blackheath by Gabriella Lepore. Now, it's kind of perfect timing because the sequel of this is coming out October 11th, and that's really exciting. Blackheath is about a girl called Maggie, and she moves to Blackheath, which is this town, okay? And she goes to school, and she kind of gets involved with these boys. Now, Joel is part of this family, and they are all supposedly witches of Blackheath. Now, Maggie has to go to him for help, kind of believing he's a witch and kind of not believing he's a witch, but she's told she has a curse on her, basically, and she has to go figure out what's happening and what's going on, and she goes to Joel for help. Now, they are then thrust into the world of magic and powers and all that good stuff, and the kind of magic system here is all about colour magic. It's really interesting. I really liked it. Blackheath Resurrection, the sequel, is coming out in October 11th, as I mentioned. I really do recommend you all go and download Blackheath by Gabriella Lepore. It is super duper fantastic and you will love it. So definitely go and check this out by Gabriella Lepore. I loved it. Next, I'm going to recommend and review This Savage Song by Victoria Ishwar, which I read on holiday as well, obviously, because it's in this video. This book is about, it's a bit of a Romeo and Juliet from the sense that you have a boy and a girl from 2 different worlds meeting and starting off something together. Oh, I don't want to spoil it. This book was really good. It was not my favourite V. Ishwar book. I really love the Gathering of Shadows books still. They will always be top of my list, but I have to admit, I did really enjoy this, and I did manage to read this in about a day. day, so it was definitely a fast-paced read for me. There were so many quotes in this which I really enjoyed. Like, Victoria Schwab is kind of a bit of a lyrical genius when it comes to writing amazing quotes that I kind of want to get them tattooed all over my body. The premise of this world was really interesting, so I do recommend this for any V.E. Schwab fan or anyone that wants to get into V.E. Schwab's books. This was a great one to get started. So another book I read, which I bought in Amsterdam, was Tales of the Peculiar by Ransom Briggs. For me, this book was not a 5-star either. Now, this is a collection of short stories which are written for peculiars to read as children, kind of get used to and learn morals in the world. So it's like basically a children's book, a children's story for peculiars, and there's loads of different stories in here. Now, I enjoyed 50% of the stories in here, and the other 50% of the stories I didn't enjoy. So I did give this a 3.54 stars. Now, it's a really interesting and really enjoyable to hop back into the world of the peculiars, especially since the film's coming out soon, and especially since now the series is complete. To me, it wasn't the best one I've read. I just preferred the actual fiction books. I didn't enjoy it too much, but it was a fun, enjoyable read. Tales of the Peculiar. Another book I read, which I really did enjoy, was A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Clues. I believe this book is not out yet, and again, I found it early in Amsterdam, and this book is set in England in a fantastical version where there's sorcerers, witches, and magicians. Basically, the witches are ridiculed because they unleash these 7 beasts, a beast for every day of the week, that kind of rule the world, and it's now up to the sorcerers to protect the world. But we have this girl who turns out to be a sorcerer when girls aren't supposed to be sorcerers, so she's taken to kind of go through tests and train before she is put in front of the Queen, show off her abilities, prove she can control all the elements and her powers, and become like one of the royal sorcerers. Then there's all these twists and turns of, is she a sorcerer or not? Is she a magician? Who's her father? Who's her family? The magic in this was fantastic. The system of magic was brilliant. The creatures in here were brilliant, and the character development in here was brilliant. I really enjoyed the introduction to the characters. Being a fantasy book, it's not utterly fast-paced. It is very character-driven and world-driven, so I'm really looking forward to reading the sequel and finding out what happens in that. But what's going on with roses on all the book covers right now? Roses are on every book cover, honestly. Now, the last book I'm going to be reviewing is The Graces by Laura Eve. Now, this book has been pitched as a craft meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, for me personally, it's not. Like, it really isn't. It has not been pitched correctly. This book is a good book. It's a good book. First 20% of it, fantastic. The introduction to the Graces, these people that go to school, which everyone look up to or are fearful of, and they're supposedly witches. And then the last 20% of this book, amazing. And that's where the kind of craft vibes come in, but not too much. But the rest of the story was a bit drab and a bit dull and a bit slow, and then they call themselves witches, but the only magic they do is burying hearts of lambs or whatever and climbing hills. The magic in here wasn't as... I wanted more magic, I wanted more powers, and at the end of the book you definitely get that, but throughout the story I was like, are they witches or not? Like, maybe that's the point of it. For me, I gave this a 3.5 stars. It was a good read, and I will be reading the sequel, but for me I had some issues with it, but maybe that's just because of the way it was pitched. If it was pitched differently, I think I would have expected it and gone into it and enjoyed it. The cover is really quite redeeming though. I mean, really, the cover is redeeming itself already to me. It is definitely a mysterious read. It's definitely a read which is intriguing, and it is a bit of a horror in a sense as well. So it is kind of a perfect read for October coming up. The Graces by Laura Eve. So there you have it. They're all the books I read minus one, as you all know, that on my vacation. I read them. I'm so happy. Oh my god. Empire Storms. Let me know down in the comments below if you would like me to do any individual reviews for these books. Definitely give this a thumbs up if you like my wrap-ups and if you liked any of the books that I read. And if you're new here, please do come and subscribe for weekly videos. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I can't wait to do my TBR, which should be up tomorrow because I've got to catch up on these videos. I've been away for a month. And yeah, apart from that, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.